6 years. That's how long this school in Devland, Soweto has not had proper access to water. Goza Primary School opened its doors in 2014 and has yet to be added to the municipal water grid. With 1,400 pupils to teach, it is facing a water crisis.
From day one, we were promised by Department of Education. After when the neighboring school, Soweto, was overpopulated, then they started this school and promised us as parents that they will have basic services, including water. We, up until now, only have JoJo's, whereby they are supplying us through a truck. And those JoJo's are not cleaned. Since 2014, they were cleaned only once.
The school only has 2 working 500-litre JoJo tanks that are filled once or twice a week. But sometimes the trucks that refill them don't arrive.
So at the beginning of the month, we sometimes don't have water at all. So it affects the kids because they have to use those water to flush, and they were supposed to use the same water to drink.
Mchapisi says that the water that comes from these tanks is not safe to drink. That's when the neighboring school and Good Samaritans stepped in to help. But even with that assistance, it's still not enough.
We are using a smaller pipe from the next door school. If ever they are using water, we are unable to access water also. So these are the challenges that we are facing.
Extremely low pressure water means that toilets remain unflushed and not all the pupils are able to wash their hands properly. The situation sometimes gets so bad that pupils end up relieving themselves behind the school buildings.
Yeah, if there is no water, usually the principal will arrange that the school has to knock off early. But you know that nature is nature. Obviously, at any time, kids have to help themselves, so they have to go to the bushes. And we reported this several times to the Department of Education.
Equal Education, an advocacy group for quality and equal education, says that this situation is unacceptable.
It's okay if you're providing 2 tanks, that's okay. But make sure that there's always water. Make sure that that tank is cleaned. Make sure that that tank is looked after. And make sure that there's a plan in place that we are going to, there's a plan that you're going to put in place to ensure that learners, teachers, or the school community at large will be able to use those 2 JoJo tanks. So now this issue of access to water, drinking water, it's now also an issue when it comes to sanitation. So I think those are like 2 things that you need to think about. It's not one issue, but now there are 2 issues, which is access to water and access to reliable, adequate sanitation.
This is not the first time the school has been fighting for access to water. It's been asking the department to be added to the water grid since 2014 and were assured that they would be assisted.
The story was there on the newspaper, they saw it. Let me also indicate that after seeing that on the media or on the news, we arranged several times, meetings several times with them, which is not fruitful, if I can put it like that. Because sometimes we go to their offices after making appointments, but people will duck and dive. When you arrive, they indicate that they are busy, they are having other commitments, of which we don't know what commitment because we don't see any result of their meetings. So to us, it is, I don't know how to put it, but it's like an insult to us.
The school staff and the parents of pupils are frustrated.
Parents are fuming. We closed this school several times because of the situation. However, we are feeling that closing the school also affects us because these are our kids.
Basic Education Minister Angie Motshekga published the Act of Minimum Uniform Norms and Standards for Public School Infrastructure that states that every school must have water, electricity, internet, working toilets and more. But just last year, government said that there were more than 3,000 schools that lacked proper access to proper water and sanitation.
And it's unlawful according to the norms and standards for school infrastructure, a law that state what makes a school to be a school or what a school should look like. So, I think the Department of Basic Education, especially in Gauteng, should be ashamed of themselves that they are putting primary school learners in such a situation. And they can't keep on saying, we'll address the issue, we'll meet up with you. They know what the issue is. They just need to attend to it. So what is the delay? What's happening in the Gauteng Department of Education? What is it that they're trying to do if they can't provide water in an area that has water, where other schools have water? Is it a lack of agency? Is it money? What's happening? But I don't think it's money, because we've seen that there was plus minus $500 million that went unaccounted for last year. They said that it was for disinfecting schools.
And with the COVID-19 pandemic still looming, the struggle to prevent health hazards is even greater.
I'm very concerned. Remember, we are always preaching to wash hands. Beside the issue of having sanitizer, our kids were supposed to be taught to wash hands through soap and water, so that they make use of that when they arrive home, because not everyone who can afford to buy sanitizer.
In 2016, Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi visited the school and asked for patience and promised to address the issue. Nsipisi repeats his plea for Lesufi to help.
We just wish that the MEC can come to the ground and see for the second time physically what the school is going through.
Eyewitness News contacted the Gauteng Education Department for comment. This was their response.
The MEC is equally concerned about the water supply challenges at the school and has undertaken the necessary steps to remedy the situation, but however is limited due to the fact that all required interventions do not fall within the mandate of the department. It's confirmed that the school currently does not have access to municipal water, as it is not linked to a water connection point from the municipality. This is as a result of it being situated in the same property as Goza Primary School. For the school to be provided with a connection point, the property on which both schools are located has to be subdivided. The provincial government is unable to proceed with the subdivision of the property and rezoning, as there's a need for proper documentation from the national government to release the said property. Apparently, the national government is not willing to release land as per previous arrangements. The department has and will continue to support all schools that are experiencing challenges, including Goza Primary School. The department is actively continuing to request the necessary interventions from stakeholders that are mandated to deal with these challenges.
Equal Education says that it will be communicating this matter to its law centre, which will follow up with the school.